Hello everyone, today, let's talk about a topic that many of us have probably encountered and might even find a bit frustrating. We all want to help our family and friends, right? But why is it that sometimes, despite our good intentions, our efforts feel ineffective or even counterproductive? Today, we'll explore the true art of helping others a master level up by deeply understanding human nature, so that we can guide and help people effectively. Before we begin, I want to mention that the wisdom we're discussing today comes from a very precious teaching, provided by the Australia Buddhist Association, called the Foundation of Beings and the Way of Salvation. Alright, let's get straight to the point. Have you ever felt like no matter what you say or do, some people are completely unresponsive, as if you're facing a wall that you can't break through? Honestly, many of us have experienced this sense of powerlessness. What's the real reason behind it? Today, we'll peel back the layers and uncover the truth. We'll discuss this topic in 4 steps. First, we'll try to decode a person's inner foundation and see what they're born with. Then, we'll look at how the postnatal environment shapes the two completely different paths of good and evil. Next, we'll learn a very clever and genuinely helpful method for assisting others. Finally, and most crucially, we'll discover a fact that might your understanding, helping others ultimately leads to our own self-realization. Let's start with the first step, decoding a person's foundation. This is about understanding the inherent, fundamental basis of a person's being. So, what exactly is this foundation? According to the Master's teachings, it refers to a person's innate qualities. Think about it. Children born to the same parents can have vastly different personalities and abilities, right? This innate foundation largely determines their potential for learning and growth. This potential isn't a single thing, it's broken down into an interconnected process called the 5 roots. You can think of it as a learning assembly line. The first and most important starting point is faith. This is a person's ability to believe and accept. If they don't have faith, then the rest is a non-starter. With faith, they can move on to the second step, diligence, the willingness to practice and put in effort. Then, through mindfulness, they can remember what they've learned. Next, through concentration, they can fully absorb it and make it a part of themselves. Finally, they can reach the state of wisdom, where they can naturally and spontaneously use this knowledge and these abilities when it matters. So, you see, these 5 roots are interconnected and indispensable. The teachings explain that if a person is naturally lacking this foundation for learning, trying to help them becomes incredibly difficult. Of course, this isn't about blaming anyone, but rather about acknowledging the innate cognitive challenges they might face. This requires us to have more understanding and patience, not just to criticize them. So, does having all 5 roots from birth guarantee success? Things aren't that simple. Next, we'll look at the second part, how a postnatal environment and cultivation, or habituation, shape us. Here, we see a stark contrast. Imagine 2 people born with the same strong learning ability, like 2 identical seeds. One is planted in a library and a lab, learning science and etiquette every day, and grows into a pillar of society. The other is thrown into a casino and a street gang. They'll also be diligent, but what they learn are various bad habits, which, of course, lead to self-destruction. This shows that talent itself is neutral. The environment, the rudder, is the most crucial factor in determining which way you go. This brings us to a critical point. The power of the environment, especially the family environment, is immense. The saying parents are a child's first teachers is absolutely true. A person with a great nature can still be ruined if they are born into a toxic environment. Conversely, someone with a less than ideal foundation can still find the right path if they are patiently nurtured in a positive and loving family. Now we know that a person's growth depends on both their innate foundation and postnatal habituation. So, the question is, how do we help those who have already gone astray? This brings us to the most crucial part, the true way to help others. Here, the Master gives us a beautiful and wise analogy. He says that the person who needs your help is like a rose. Your job is to learn how to distinguish between the thorns and the flower. What are the thorns? They are the bad habits and behaviors that harm both themselves and others. What is the flower? It's their inner beauty, their talents, and their potential for good. Many of us make the mistake of getting pricked by their thorns and, in our anger, wanting to destroy the entire rose bush. But true, wise help is like that of a patient gardener. You must cooperate with them, carefully trim the thorns, and at the same time, water and nourish the flower with love to help it blossom. So, remember this, genuine help is never about force. You can't stand in your own world and condescendingly tell them what they should and shouldn't do. It's useless. You have to step into their world, learn their language, and understand their way of thinking. You must gently guide them from within their world, helping them see their own thorns and, most importantly, making them want to change themselves. That is the key. Now, we're about to enter the most profound and perhaps most unexpected part of our discussion today. Helping others is helping oneself. Let's all think about a question. When you've poured a tremendous amount of effort into helping someone who is very stubborn and difficult to change, who is really improving and evolving during that long and difficult process? The answer might shock you. There's a saying in the teachings that is truly profound. The Buddha only teaches the methods. It is all beings, especially those you find most difficult to enlighten, who truly lead you to Buddhahood. Why is this? It sounds a bit counterintuitive, right? Let me give you an example to make it clear. Imagine you're a fitness trainer, and your client groans through every workout and makes slow progress. But to teach them well, you have to constantly research, think, and demonstrate, and as a result, your own skills and expertise grow rapidly. In the same way, in the process of helping others, you are the one actively exercising your mind. The final result might be that they haven't completely changed yet, but your wisdom and state of being have already advanced because of the process. So, from this perspective, isn't it true that they are the ones who have helped you achieve? To truly understand this from the root, we might need to take a step back and raise our perspective a little higher, to a place that might feel a bit ethereal. The master used an analogy of a dream to help us escape our rigid way of thinking. When you're dreaming at night, isn't everything in the dream 100% real? You feel pain, fear, and happiness, right? But the moment you wake up, everything disappears. So, is there a possibility that the so-called reality we are experiencing now is essentially a dream as well? Just a waking dream? You might ask, wait, if reality is a dream, how can I touch a table and feel pain? It feels so real. This brings up a crucial term, solidified delusion. You can think of it this way, this world is a fantasy woven together by the thoughts of all of us. Every single moment, each of us confirms its existence with our thoughts. This collective consciousness makes this illusion incredibly dense and solid, eventually forming the physical world we can touch and see. When we understand this, we might have a completely different feeling about the saying we all know, nothing is ever an issue in the world. It is the ordinary person who causes trouble. All of our worries and pain essentially come from taking this solidified illusion as real, clinging to it, and believing it is permanent and unchanging. So, as we come to the end, I want to leave you with one final question. If the reality we live in is truly just the solidified illusion created and maintained by our own minds, then how should we live in this world? And how should we love and help others? This is a question worth a lot of thought for each of us.